Number 7 on the time.
8:23 already inside the 40 are the Indians.
Second down.
Roll, ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into a hands-on career. Middle Area College is ready for you. Their Mac Tech industry and technology programs all about getting to work and making things happen. Apply today at middlearea.edu. Construction, auto, tech, HVAC, welding. Take the first step to a fulfilling career in a Mac Tech program. Second down and 5 from the 37. Crump again. And barreled to the ground just before he's got enough for the first. So it'll bring up 3rd and 2.
He'll get it down.
Clock under 8. Indians to line with 35. They snap it. Right side, plenty of room for Crump. He just shoulders against the Farmington tonight, and he's at the 25. And that's what you just talked about. They get to the line so quick, you anticipate the snap, and so you want to get off that line really quick, and that time the Indians snapped it with just seconds off the play clock.
Well, for obvious reasons, they're skilled, and that is a type of hurry up you don't see every week, for goodness sake. You probably see it once a year when you play them. That it's a hard team to play against because of those things. You're just so much that you don't see all the time.
Drew Parson to Crump on another give. Boy, how much would Farmington give for a turnover? Ryan Nesbitt, second-year man at Jackson. Class 6 Troy Buchanan, head coach for the last 9 years, led them to their first ever trip to the state semis in 2021. That 21 season, Jackson was in the semis and lost to Webb City 35-21 to wrap up a 12-1 season. In Coach Nesbitt's first year at Jackson, they went to the state quarters, lost to CBC by a dozen, and finished the year 10-2. Farmington last year, 6-6. Crump stood up. Crump not going to get away from a trifecta of nights, and it's going to bring up 3rd and about 7 with 6.5 to go.
You mentioned the desire for a turnover. You feel like that's probably where the game could tilt if it's going to. Although, you can get a stop here. What a big play that would be.
Massive on 3rd and long. Parson, he's got Crow in motion. Fake the give. Room up the middle. Easy walk-in touchdown from 22 out. Back breaker for Drew Parson. And that's why you think the onside kick to try to get that sort of bonus possession to keep the ball out of the hands of this offense. Had another PAT.
Good. Kai Crow will kick it through.
Crow perfect on the ear and nose. Down to the field to Chad Speaker with 6:01 to go. Chad?
You know, I think you guys, you're coming around a little bit in terms of, I don't think Farmington thinks they can stop them, whether it's from 80 yards or 20 yards. So you're going to have to do something to gain an extra possession. And I think that's the thinking behind, the onsides. Another point here, all the big plays, all the hurry up, at some point, Jackson is always going to have a power element, and at some point you're going to have to stop that run. In fact, they're 2 players for this past 4 or 5 years who are playing at the highest level of college football of anybody on the roster are Connor Tollison, who's the starting center for the Missouri Tigers, and then you've got Tony Terry, who was playing for, what was last year a resurgent Big 12 program in KU, but he's now at SEMO. They've got muscle along with all that skill usually.
10 offensive series. Farmington's defense has only kept the Indians out of the end zone in 3 of them. And Chad, I'll put you on the spot. Do you still have the numbers of what Jackson was averaging over the last 13 years in terms of point differential? We'll get it after the kick return. Farmington takes it close to the 20, not trying to backtrack and find a way to the outside. A spin move still on his feet. He put a hand down but not a knee, and now wrestled down to the 22 as the Knights return man with 5:51 to go. And here we are with Jackson with 49, but what was that point differential you gave earlier?
Yeah, Greg, over the length of this winning streak for Jackson, the average score 45-15. So first of all, you got to get close, right? And then you got to find a way to win. So I mean, it's pretty obvious here. Farmington needs a score, and then whether it's an on or a turnover, punch in. So we've happened before, guys.
I find it interesting. 45 was the average, Mike, and everything we talked about and heard, you and I heard coming into today, was it's not the same animal that Jackson used to be. Not again. You got to put it all in perspective, right? Maybe they're not going to win a state championship this year, but here they are again with 49, and they've moved up and down the field almost at will. The Knights have only held them out on 3 out of 10 drives.
And Greg, to be honest, I'm not so sure that they don't think they can make some kind of run. The district that they compete in this year is Seckman, Lindbergh, Fox, Oakville, Northwest, and then Jackson. I think they'll feel pretty good about their chances to get through that district. Well, once you do that, who knows? But the standards are so high.
And that's a big part of it, too. I mean, the expectations in town, for crying out loud, right? Here's Dry, that option. Jackson read it. Dry slipped a man and broke another tackle of a guy that had to grab at the jersey and out of bounds at the 42 with 5:42 to go. Clock is not an issue really on this particular drive, but the problem is Farmington needs 2 of these to tie it.
Unofficially, that puts Dry at 100 yards rushing. McLean is over 100 at unofficially 121.
Dry came in leading the SEMO North Conference in rushing, had 338 on 37 carries. Barks for the ball here on 1st and 10. Gives to McLean. Eludes one man over midfield. And right on that Spear J logo in the center of the field here, Jackson at the pit. Well, again, Chad's been here 4 or 5 times. It's the first for you and I. This is an impressive place.
There's been everything to like about it, from the game presentation, the enthusiasm from the crowd. And Farmington, by the way, did bring a good group tonight. It's been what Friday Night Lights you picture it being, and it's been a back and forth pinball machine game.
Well, McLean pinballing his way to the 35.
McLean on the carry.
As we'll climb under 5 minutes to go now.
On the tackle. And that's 1st and 10.
And the Knights, look at what they're doing, right? Just continuing to move the ball down the field. They've done a good job of this all night. If not for the Dry fumble, Farmington could have scored in all 4 of their second half drives. They've scored in the last 3.
And it felt like they were headed for a score on that drive.
They did. Trying to sweep to the outside. This is a tough ask. McLean just barreling his way to the 30. Boy, that was a hard run for 3.
Finley on the tackle. 2nd down.
Each team with 3 timeouts left, so if the Knights can cash it in, then you get the Eric Krupe question, and Chad can just take that microphone and go right up to him and ask him, hey, is it onside kick, or are we kicking deep and using all 3 timeouts and hoping the defense can go 3 and out? I'm sure he'll give you an answer.
I think we know the answer.
4:08. Good thing Dry did not give it to McLean. He got creamed. Stiff arm by Dry. Out of bounds near the 30 as he gave a shove to Blaine Reagan.
Blaine Reagan pushing out of bounds.
I don't think either coaching staff tonight, Greg, would tell you that they would want to entrust the outcome of the game to their defense.
Not the way this thing's going.
No.
I mean, we've combined for 84 points.
Now that goes on both sides. And
yeah,
the clock becomes something to keep a close eye on now, too. You're going to go under 4 with this next play.
Well, 2 tries to get 5.5 yards. First down marker at the 25. Jackson shifts on defense. McLean's got a bit of a seam. They'll need 4th down, and they'll need 2 yards on the play. As we're under 4 minutes to go with Farmington. We see them next Friday with Sykeston coming to Hale Memorial Stadium.
A Sykeston team that currently sits at 1-2 on the year.
Big 4th down. Knights taking their time. 3.5 to go. Need 2 yards to keep this drive alive and a shot to win the game alive. McLean behind Dry. Snap came. They weren't ready for it. It's a live ball. No flags. And Jackson holds on what looked to be a busted play at the snap. And a lot of the Knights with palms to the sky like, what?
And take over on down.
Dry got the snap, and I don't know if he was ready for it or if just nobody else was ready for the play to start, but there was certainly confusion, no question.
It appeared to absolutely be a snap count issue. Whether it was snapped early or on time and other, who knows. But the play never developed.
And now Jackson, it's going to be all on the ground for the next 3:14 if they can hang on to it.
Chase Buchanan.
Hampton with the carry, ball at the 35, and Farmington takes the first of 3.
Make that timeout, Farmington.
Eric Krupe in his 12th year, 68-59 the record. This would be loss 60. Last time they went to the state playoffs in 19, they lost to St. Mary 28-17 in the quarterfinal. I thought it was interesting to hear the perspective of some of those guys you talked to in the pregame, Chad, talking about Brett Dry, the quarterback, and one of the captains on defense, and a guy who's been a mainstay in this program for 4 years. I thought it was noteworthy to say he did not start his first game as a freshman, came out and ran for 100 yards and did every other game after that did he start. But you asked him what their goals were, right? And I remember Casey McLean said, play in the district championship game. I like that answer. Yeah, not win it, just be there with a shot.
And a little, I'll give you this play, a little conversation I just caught up with right there as well.
It's 2nd down and 6 from the 35. Out of Farmington's first timeout, they'll hand again Hampton, and that one should just about end it. Go ahead, Chad.
Well, it was obviously an early snap on that 4th down, right, guys? Pretty easy to see. Snaps come through. Kaysen, a tremendous teammate, goes up to his quarterback. Hey, way to recognize what happened. You did your best to get a first down there. Always supporting. Really like that.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, long term, let's be honest, this game doesn't, a lot of these regular season games don't mean much, right? Everybody goes to the district tournament. So they're little building blocks. They're learning moments, right? And there's another one. How do guys respond to adversity? We've heard this for 2 decades, Mike, about what high school athletics is about, what it doesn't come down to, and you look at the big scoreboard on one end of the field of who's going to win and lose the ball game. You want some of those, how do you pick your teammate up moments? And there's one right there between the 2 guys we just happen to talk about in a sit-down for the pregame conversation with Dry and McLean.
What I find interesting to put in the brain matter as you talk about all these things, we've done this for so long that I have even times where I get away from the thought that they're high school athletes, because some of them perform at such a high level athletically that you think, all right, we've got a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, in some cases 15-year-olds, and we're asking them to handle adversity and difficult life circumstances like we as adults
right, can't do.
Often struggle to do. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that's what you're asking, and it's all on the fly in the course of a game. You throw a big interception, you make an error, you miss a free throw, and the coach is like, forget about it, you got to move on. It's like, I can't forget about that, it just happened. But a lot of these young athletes are remarkable at exactly that. The maturity that oftentimes they show is honestly remarkable.
That same conversation, Casey McLean and Brett Dry talking about they've been playing football together since the 4th grade. And that has a lot to do with it, right? The interpersonal relationships of how long one guy's known another guy and how big that friendship and relationship is. And when you've been playing with somebody who's, you've been around since 4th grade, I think you know him well enough, the personality that one guy's going to be there when it doesn't quite go the way the other guy wants it to go.
You've talked over the years.
Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling has the equipment and know-how to get that job done right. They dig basements, ponds, lakes, roads, and clearings and haul in the rock. Check out Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling's commercial work at Domino's in Farmington and Fredericktown and Leadbelt Motorsports. Call Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling today at 701-3258. That's 701-3258.
Mercantile on Columbia Street is a business targeting all audiences and age ranges with its vast assortment of sweet treats and knickknacks. One of the major draw factors of customers is the homemade ice cream made by the owners of the...
Might go on to the collegiate game, but for that moment, we don't get to do that anymore with, all these people that we've lived our lives with. You understand as you get a little closer to the athletes why that's such a big deal.
3rd and 6 from just over midfield. Parson going to keep. Trying the corner. And short, but a flag will stop the clock.
Drew Parsons with the carry.
It'd be interesting to see what this call is. It would be 4th and 2 without the flag. And it's going to be
Holding against the Indians.
3rd and long.
And that's going to be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
The upside for Farmington for that penalty is that you get the 10 yards. The downside is that it's 3rd down, not 4th down, and they're going to get to run another play, and clock ticks a little longer, and it's already at 2:15.
And Farmington out of timeouts now. So 3rd and 14, 13 from the 44. Parson going to roll and look to throw over to the flat, incomplete to Crow. That was interesting. And maybe they're playing the game that, hey, Farmington's not expecting a pass, right?
Guys, I was just listening to Coach Groupie talk to his coaches. The rain straight you want to go, it'd be 4th and 2. You want to take the penalty. It wasn't an instant decision, but boy, it wasn't it the right one. Not only stopped them on yardage, but the clock stopped. Oh.
I thought the same thing, Chad. I thought there was a chance they might decline that. I think if it was 4th and maybe more than 4, that decision's different. 4th and 2, I still feel pretty good Jackson can pick up 2 yards rather easily. But 4th or 4 or longer than that, I think I might have declined that and let them have 4th down. And then you get the incomplete pass to stop the clock. But Farmington's still got a ton of work to do and only $1.52 to do it, and they're at their own 17 and need 2 scores.
It being a 2-possession game, I'm not as shocked by throwing the ball there with your opponent out of timeouts and the 2-minute mark being on the clock. Not as stunned by it as I would have been. Had it been a one-possession game, that would have blown me away to make that
huge
call.
Difference, yeah, for sure. So Knights got to go lickety-split here. Minute 52, down 2 scores. Indians with Poplar Bluff coming in here next week. Farmington coming off a big win over the Mules. Pass out in the flat. Going to need more yardage than that per play. Easier said than done. Try quickly, incomplete. 2 receivers kind of at least lined up. I'm not sure they knew who that was intended for. McCarthy kind of let it go, and Zonner ended up being kind of surprised by it. 3rd down. Knights came into tonight trying to snap that lengthy losing streak dating back to 2012. Dry pass caught and diving for the sideline to get out of bounds. He didn't even catch the ball, they say. It's incomplete, 4th down.
Pass is incomplete.
Boy, it looked like McCarthy, the sophomore, had it. So 4th and 5. Happened right in front of the Farmington bench. Minute 25. Thanks for tuning in tonight on Parkland Sports Live. Week 4 of high school football. Dry, great protection. Deep ball over the middle, and he overshot him way too far.
And the pass is incomplete.
I'd have to think if Chad is going to talk to Eric Krupe afterwards, he's not going to admit it because coaches don't like it. That is there a silver lining of what we saw tonight? And maybe that's the easy broadcaster thing to say when you were within 7 a couple of times in the 4th quarter against this team that you've had 0 success against over the last dozen years in 13 meetings. It was going to be a really tough defensive ask Mike, I'll be honest, I'm surprised with the success Farmington had on offense moving the ball. I'm not too terribly disappointed by what I saw tonight. I don't think Eric Krupe is going to say that. I will, and I wasn't too terribly disappointed.
I think Chad kind of alluded to it earlier in the aspect of when it's gone in a big way against you for so long, get a year where it's close, close the gap, and then hope that that's the beginning of it tilting back towards your favor a little bit. And the gap is certainly closed here tonight. Now, people from Jackson may argue, yeah, but we fell more back to you than you rose up to us. But who cares if you're Farmington?
The gap closed however it closed, man.
There you go. So I think it's a positive night. And Coach Krupe will likely not agree with that, but there were some things I saw that I liked a lot, especially after seeing Farmington against North County, where there were some things I didn't like as well.
I agree with that.
I like more tonight.
The Jackson Indians and the Farmington Knights walk out of the pit with identical 2-2 marks.
One more time.
But the streak continues for the home team tonight. Jackson has made it 14 straight wins over Farmington. The Knights haven't beaten Jackson since 2011, haven't beaten them here since 2010. And for Jackson, the beat goes on against Farmington. Final tonight, 49-35. We'll come back. Post-game show right around the corner on Parkland Sports Live.
Mercantile on Columbia Street is a business targeting all audiences and age ranges with its vast assortment of sweet treats and knickknacks. One of the major draw factors of customers is the homemade ice cream made by the owners of the establishment. Mercantile sells many toys and snacks, making it a great trip for children and featuring other sweet treats as well as collectible items to draw as adults. A trip to the Mercantile will leave your entire family happy and make for a great stop for anyone with a family that wants a rustic feeling ice cream parlor experience. Come see us in downtown Farmington.
Hi, my name is Jonas, and I go to St. Joseph in Farmington. My friends in the St. Joseph Youth Group are planning another mission trip to Belize next July. The group will help rebuild and repair Catholic schools in the country. Just call St. Joseph Catholic Church in Farmington for more information. And don't forget about the drive-through chicken fry on Sunday, October 6th, right outside the school cafeteria. Chicken, sides, and desserts for just $10 a plate. Help the St. Joe Youth Group help other young Catholics in Belize by supporting their mission trip.
At Beyond the Leash, we specialize in professional dog training, focusing on the whole mindset of your dog. From adventure training to service dog programs, we provide customized, transformative experiences for dogs of all kinds. With Beyond the Leash, it's about going beyond the physical leash. It's about unleashing the bond, the trust, and connection between you and your dog. Our name isn't just a title, it's a promise. Beyond the Leash means moving past limits, discovering a deeper companionship, and fostering freedom through expert training and care. Beyond the Leash, where professional dog training meets exceptional grooming services, all designed to elevate your dog's life and enhance your relationship.
Ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into a hands-on career? Mineral Area College is ready for you. Their Mac Tech industry and technology programs are all about getting to work and making things happen. Whether you thrive on fixing, building, or just plain problem solving, they've got a pathway for you. Welding, HVAC, auto tech, construction, and more. You'll gain the practical skills and real-world experience needed to thrive in today's job market. Take the first step to a fulfilling career in a Mac Tech program. Apply today at mineralarea.edu.
The Department of Mental Health for the state of Missouri is seeking an advanced practice nurse to fill a position on their East-Southeast Regional Forensics Mobile Team. This position includes daytime travel, a flexible work schedule with remote work options available, at a salary of $130,000 annually, and tremendous benefits. This opening will not last long. To apply for the advanced practice nurse position or any other with the Department of Mental Health, please call 573-218-6800 or go to dmh.mo.gov. The state of Missouri is an equal opportunity employer. We celebrate diversity and are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all employees.
Hey, it's Mark Toady here, and you know there's no better place to watch the big game than Spokes Pub and Grill in Farmington. Chris and Dina Spence invite you out to enjoy the great menu and the